Alright everybody, this is AD Blue and I'm just pretty much going to explain the glitch and how it works. The garage glitch and how it works and what I'm doing and why I'm doing some stuff, because it's not altogether too obvious. This is using the JP version just to explain it. It's a bit different for the US one. It's the same glitch and it works in the same way. It's just I use different data to overwrite the license thing. So this is my low percent run that's already on this channel. And it's interlaced, so if there's lines, this is the raw footage, so it will have lines on it. So basically what I'm first aiming to do is just get 9 unique cars, and pretty much you need the fastest 9, well, you need 9 that you can afford. So this is what I start out with a Sylvia, because nothing says match your car than one that sports an old lady's name. So yeah, we get a Sylvia K's, I think there's only one version of Sylvia K's, and there's 2 Qs, and this is the 2000 Qs I'm using for the lightweight K1 at Rome Short. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. One, because you get some money for winning, obviously, and you also win a beat, and it's one of the 4 races you can do without licenses. 7. It's the shortest of them, so yeah, I'm not going to subject it to this because there's no need. It's just a normal race. You just get in the Qs and you do that race, and then that's pretty much it. So when you've done that, we go do one of the many machine tests. So basically, why we do the machine test is the bug. It's how the glitch works. It's the only glitch, and it's pretty much how it works. What you do is you need to get 9 unique cars, as I've already said, and you need at least 10 entries on the leaderboard. So you need to have got 10 entries on the leaderboard, because as we pretty much all know, if you look at the leaderboard records of the time trials, then there's only 8 spaces. But in the early versions of the game, for some bizarre reason, they only check for 8 entries in some points of the code when it goes through, instead of all the times it goes through. So if you add a new car to the leaderboard, then that's not one of the times it checks, so you can go past 8 into 9, 10 and stuff. And then we'll use bettering our times to trigger the first glitch. So yeah, what I'm doing, use the first car, don't need that anymore, sell it, because I need the dosh. And getting the beat that we won. I really hate this beat. It's unlike all the other slow cars, it looks like it should be fast, but it's really obviously not. So yeah, just do that as normal, flat out. It's like the Sylvia, don't need that at all. And yeah, so you saw me into my name as all spaces. That's a key part of the glitch that controls how much data of the garage gets overwritten by the glitch later on. So yeah, spaces is the least you can make it do. So that's the lowest character you can enter on the name enter screen, the lowest valued character. So yeah, done with the beat, don't need that, sell that. Then we get back in the K's, so that's why I buy it, so I don't have to go buy it again. I'd have to go buy it now. So I need 2 trips to the Nissan dealership instead of 3. But yeah, just do 2 of these races as normal. It's the Clubman one on the Rome Short, because that's the quickest race you can do, because the K's isn't eligible for the lightweight race. So yeah, that's all them. And yeah, do that as normal. Now on this trip to the machine test, you don't want to go flat out, because you need to beat this time later on, since in the Japanese version this K's is the fastest of the starting cars you can buy. So on this one you don't want to go flat out, so at 300 meters 350, I just let go of the accelerator so that I can beat it later on. And yep, let go, and then just cross the line, it doesn't matter. So then after we've done that, then we do a 1000 meter test. This is to also seed the glitch. This is where the name as spaces counts after this one. So you don't have to enter the name as spaces on any of the 400 meters, just as long as you do it for the first 1000 meter one. Yep, so you have to make sure that's first, which it should be if you're starting a new game, because you won't have done any others. So then from here we need to go buy the rest of the cars that we need. So the cheapest 9 on the Japanese version that we can afford, well, the best 9 are the Starlet 3-door. Don't get any of these. And then it's the Mazda Familia 323. And then it looks like I'm buying another Sylvia Q's car. Well, it looks like I'm buying one I've already bought. I'm not. This is the 1800 version. So that counts as a separate car in the game, rather than the 2000 version. And the Infiniti/Primera. Need that one as well. This is our luxury car. It's the fastest one you can pretty much well, not the fastest, but it's one you can buy. Yep, and then this one you want to buy the SR4 first, because we need to get in the RSX and, well, the Auto Works and do something with that first. So yeah, we get the Auto Works, get in this one. Then what you need to do is, on the machine test on this one, you want to sandbag this car so it goes slower than the servo mode flat out, which is around 22 seconds. So when I get to 300, I let go of the accelerator. And just make sure you get a time over that. Because if you have 9 cars, then, and the leaderboard, it still works, you want to need, well, the leaderboard holds 8 times, as you know, even though the count goes up, it still gets rid of the bottom ones properly. So if you get rid of 8 cars, I mean, if you get 8 times on there, and then you, if you get 9 cars, let me start again. If you get 8 times on the leaderboard, and then on the 9th unique car, you knock off the bottom one, the game will say there's 9 times on it, but it will only have 8 in the record list. So then if I get back in the Auto Works and beat the servo mode's time, then that'll count as a new entry and put it up to 10. So that I don't need to buy actually 10 unique cars. So that's why early versions of this glitch, they had me doing 4 races to get enough money, but on this one I only need to do 3. So that's why, since I figured I could just sandbag a slow car and beat the slightly faster car, which is what I'm doing. So now I'm just doing normal machine tests all flat out. So yep, let me get to, so yeah, I'm still doing them. There's the Familia, there should be the next one will be the Starlet. Yep, do that. So do these all flat out. Then get back into the Auto Works, which I've in the meantime put near the top of the garage. Now the garage order does count because when we glitch the count of cars in the garage, it's part of the car data that becomes the new count of cars in the garage. So you need the Infinity 2.0 at the top, Primera, and then you can have any other car that you don't need is second, because that will get glitched as well, and then the good car in third. I have it in third. It doesn't really matter where you have the good car. So yeah, we get back in the Auto Works and go flat out this time. So that knocks off the servo mode. And now the game thinks we have 10 entries on the list, even though we only have 8 obviously, but we've had 10 unique cars on there. The game now thinks we have 10 400 meter tests, so now we get back in the Sylvia K's. I was going to call it Q's. You get back in there, and now you need to beat the time that you sandbagged earlier. Now what this does is the game thinks there's 10 entries, and it moves the 10th entry up. I don't know why it moves them all up, but it moves all the entries up, so this glitches the number of 1000 meter entries to the 9th character of the name we entered, and since that's a space, that's 32. So it thinks there's 32, and then we'll do another 1000 meter test, and then it'll think there's 33. And then when we beat the times later on, it will do the same thing, but since it'll think there's 33, it'll go further down in memory past all the max speed tests and into the garage, and it moves up car data in the garage up the size of a machine test record, which is 20 bytes. So do that. So yeah, you can see now I'm like mashing triangle at least because it's going into reverse, but what I'm doing is holding X, because I need 1 kilobyte. Well, I need 1000, what was it? Where are we at? So I did have it somewhere, where is it? Yeah, you need 1373 bytes of non-zero data in order to skip 9 license tests. So what I'm doing here is basically creating quite a lot of replay data, so when the test starts, but not before it, you need to hold X, and then you can't let go of that forever for the duration of the test, for the, not test, yeah, and there's me nosing it into the wall like a dumbass. So you need to hold X for the duration of the time trial, and then you need to mash either reverse, handbrake, e-brake, or you can do left and right, and you need to mash them for the entirety of the test, either of them, any of those 4 buttons while holding down X, and that will make sure there's non-zero data in the replay. And you need, like I said, you need 1300 bytes of that, and each button press I think gives you 3 bytes, so yeah, you need to pretty much mash quite a lot, including here, don't let go of X yet, don't let go of X. Now when the test is over and the replay started, then you can let go of X. So then that's what you need to do for that, and that sees all the replay data. Now from here, if you exit the 1000 meter tests, that's it, you'll have to do it again. And if you go look at a car in the garage, that also erases the replay data, so you can't do that either. So as long as you go to try again, then that's okay. And then what I do now on the pause, since I need to beat this time later on, if I just go flat out, then there's no chance of that happening, so I have to beat this time that I do now, I have to beat it once, and then I have to beat it again in order to move the data up 40 bytes in the garage, and that will make the weight distribution value of the Primera become the new count of cars in the garage, and that happens to be 666, which is quite handy. But that's what number it is, and it'll make the game think we have 666 cars in our garage. So yeah, like before, don't destroy the replay data, so don't mash anything here, just hold X at the start when you're holding X, and then let go when the replay has started. So just do that, don't do any extraneous button presses, don't mash the gear changes, because that also counts in the replay, so don't mash those. Don't press up either, that also counts as replay data, so don't press D-pad up, or I don't know if you can steer up on the analog stick, can you do that? I don't know, but if you can, just don't do that anyway. So yeah, here I don't rev until the timer has started, because that's slower than just holding rev while I accelerate down at the start. So yeah, what we do, so you need to do one 1000 meter test, which is the one that sees the replay data, which is the slowest. Then you need to do one that beats that time, and then you need to do another one which beats this time, but not flat out, because you need to beat this time again later on to clear the garage. So this is the third machine test, 1000 test, so that's all done for now. So now the garage is completely glitched, and the game thinks we have 666 cars in our garage. If you save now, it will save the first 100 cars, and it will also save that you have 666 cars, but it won't save any data past that, so you can't corrupt the save by this. That's not how it works. So now I'm doing a certain combination. I'm going down to where the replay data is in memory, which happens to be, I have the notes here. You have to press right 22 times from the start, and then go down 4, press start 9 times, then go back to the top, press right once, down 2, start to move that car to the top, so that you can use that car's ID as the amount of money you will have afterwards. Then you go down, you press right again 10 times, and then up twice, and then you mash start until the good cars have gone back to the top, and then that moves all the license data, all the replay data down to where the license name would be, and then you just go and do the licenses as normal, well, as normal as possible. So you start at B1. Unfortunately, the licenses are stored in reverse order in memory, so the B licenses come last, otherwise you would be able to glitch through into the other licenses and maybe even skip licenses completely, but unfortunately they're reversed in memory, so you can't do that. So yeah, there's one mitigation against that for some reason. So yeah, this lags super hard, this screen, and then you just exit. And that's B done. Oops, sorry, jumped ahead there. So yeah, you can see on this screen here that when it loads. Unfortunately, depending on how you mash, different icons will show up here. So this is just the replay data interpreted as license trophies. So basically the license trophy that you get is basically an index into an icon list, pretty much. So the gold trophy is number 2, silver trophies is number 3, bronze is number 4, and the kids prize is 5, I think. And then the other ones later on, I like the IC license, and the next arrow apparently is one of them as well. But yeah, so that's why all them show up. Then you just do the first test of the licenses, because you can. And this test, I swear this test changes in the Japanese version. Just the handling of the car is just completely weird. It's not just jumping over the jumps. It's just, I don't know, when you hold left, it just turns left forever. Look at that. It's just like not. I don't know. It just doesn't seem normal. And also the sky in the background's glitching for some reason. I don't think that's part of the glitch. That's just how it works. So yeah, the name. Yeah, you need over 1,300 bytes of non-zero data, but it can't just be any non-zero data for some reason. Because most games, if you buffer overflow, which is pretty much what this is, they will crash if you have too many non-zero bytes. The name entry screen on this will crash if you have too many bits in the name, not bytes. So you can't just have any old random non-zero data. It has to be non-zero data with the fewest bits possible. So that's why I'm using the replay data, because that's pretty much the fewest bits possible. There is some other in memory, but that all has all bits set, and if you use that, you can only go to about 300 characters before the name entry screen crashes. And it does crash on. It just sort of freezes up. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can only go to 300, so if you use the license data, that only has like 2 or 3 bits set per byte, so you can go to like at least 1350, 1370, which is what you need. And then, yeah, we're not quite done with the glitch yet, because when you've done the test and got all your licenses, then you need to go back to the garage. You need to go back down to past where all the data is in memory, to move a zero entry to the top, and then get back in the K car, which is now magically changed colour. And then when you do one final machine test, see we have our glitch credits now, but in this state, since we have 666 cars, if you try and buy one, you'll be able to buy it, but it won't do anything. You won't be able to get in it. Even though if you like click X to get in it, and it goes, yeah, you're now in it, you won't be in it, so you can't actually. You have to do the glitch once more to move the data up 20 bytes like before, but since we put a 0 1 at the top, that'll now make the garage count 0, well, the number of cars in the garage 0, and that will say, like, if you go to the garage screen, it'll say nothing in the Japanese version or NA in the other versions, and then you can actually buy things as normal, so you don't need to see that. Let's just go flat out on this one since you don't need to do another one. You can see, look, we've now got cleared the name entry screen. That's also important because if you leave it as the big long string, then that will overwrite the clearing that you did by moving the 20 bytes up, since that's quite a long name and it'll go still into the garage. So yeah, from here, in the Japanese version, there's something that I didn't know, I don't think any of us actually knew, because it would make a pretty sure 90%. You can just straight away buy the Escudo, and then you don't actually have to do leagues, you don't actually have to do them, you can just go straight to worlds. This isn't part of the glitch, this is just how the game is. There's no prerequisites for worlds, you can just go straight there. And yep, I set the tire to super soft as we all do, and I bump up the aero, and that's it, boom. Glitch done, and since this is technically low percent now, this would be low percent done, just do worlds, done. And yeah, that's it. Nothing else to do with the glitch. Glitch is done. If you're doing, well, like in the US versions, you'd have to do 2 tests per license with the current way I figured it out, because I haven't like worked out the directions to the replay data in memory. But you could pretty much do the same thing that as you do here. I just haven't worked out where it is, because it's not quite, it's just not quite divisible by the size of car data. So you actually have to figure out where it starts and ends and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not going to talk through all of this, you know what driving an Escudo looks like. So yeah, if you saw me in the, well, if you looked at any of the, the US version or the race thing I was using that looked like in an RM'd Miata MX-5, that's just because in the US version I use car data that maps the car data to its bodies. I use part of that data to use as the license entry name thing. So it moves that out of the way. Obviously, since you press start, it moves it to the top and everything in memory down a bit. So that's why it becomes a Miata, because the game looks for like, oh, what's the body for the Escudo, and then it looks in the list and it's not in the list, so it just uses the, since it's now obviously at the top in the license name. So it looks for that and it doesn't find it, so it just loads the Miata, which I think is the default. There is one thing that I didn't show off on emulator in the, like, I didn't show it off because I used emulator. There's a difference between emulator and console. In the US version, when you use that sort of data, on emulator, if you go to buy the Escudo when it's like bugged by not having its body up, on emulator it just loads the default body just fine and you can just like buy it as normal. On console it actually blanks out the screen, so a video is like the screen's completely black until you either go back to the title screen or you enter a race. So if you're doing that on console, that sort of glitch, you have to, like, I mean, it's not far to memorize from buying the Escudo to Worlds, but yeah, you have to do it in the dark pretty much. You have to do it from memory, but yeah, it's only like what, 6 button presses. It's not that far away. It's not that hard to do. But yeah, that includes any car that you glitch as well, not just the Escudo. So like in the US version, I like using the TVR Chimera for the 295 races. But that's one of the glitch cars, one of the cars that gets glitched as well, so I can't use that because I have to buy the Tommy Kyra after that, and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, anyway, I don't want to keep talking about random stuff, since I've explained the glitch, and that's pretty much how it all works and what it does, and yeah.